And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this first day of August. Well, it is not a very bright-looking day there, but it's the first day of the week and first of August. And of course, as we know, with August, we have the Eka and India Day Fair, and of course very soon we'll be getting those westerlies. But today it is very, very cloudy right here in Brisbane, but it is 14 degrees and cloudy remaining that way most of the day today. So once again, welcome to this wonderful Saturday, and we've got a lot lined up for you. But first of all, here's a message from our company. And welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to this the first day of August, and we've got lots to go through today, and we'll be also having towards the end our daily India report. First of all, what's the big challenge ahead for the Parliament government?
Flying home into political turbulence. The Premier is back to his government, plagued by controversy and playing defence.
I think that this is an extremely good government.
As the Arts Minister set about promoting the government's work, he insisted publicly at least he's not concerned that John Barilaro's appointment to a lucrative trade position is causing damage.
I'm not, and I'm not because I think people can focus on what's actually important.
But he's less resolute about whether the Trade Minister Stuart Ayres should keep his job.
It's a question well beyond our pay grade. That's something that's been addressed by the Premier.
Obviously that's a decision that the Premier will make. It's a discussion the Premier will make with Stuart Ayres.
The Premier has been standing by his Liberal deputy while they were together on a trade mission. That's despite documents being released which called into question the Minister's involvement in the appointment process and whether he misled Parliament about it.
Every time he tries to provide an answer, he is contradicted by the information and the evidence that comes to public light.
Mr Ayres has been interviewed as part of an internal review that was ordered by Dominic Perrottet and should be released soon. Privately, there's been growing anger within the government, and much of that is being directed at Stuart Ayres. The review has been both a help and a hindrance to the Premier. It's given him cover, but it's also prolonged the controversy because he won't act until it's finalised. And now some MPs believe the only way to resolve this is for Mr Ayres to stand aside. Ashley Raper.
And maybe that might be the right call, for him to just stand aside. Well, right now, the next news is about the warning that has been issued about our gas supply. As we know, our gas, we export a lot of our gas, and it has been a very good income earner. But what about our local consumption, supply to the local industries and local supply before we look at export market?
The consumer watchdog has taken the extraordinary step of urging the federal government to consider intervening in the energy market in a bid to shore up supply. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission has released an interim report into East Coast gas stock, forecasting significant local shortfall by next year.
It says too much gas is being exported and more needs to be done to provide for the local market. It's recommended the government consider pulling the so-called gas trigger, with projections there'll be a 10% shortfall for domestic demand next winter. Let's bring in political reporter Henry Bello in Canberra. Henry, good morning. So a pretty strongly worded report. What exactly does it have to say?
Yeah, it's a pretty serious report, and that's how it's being treated by the federal government. It warns that gas prices could be even higher next year, and that's due to what really is a unique supply and demand imbalance in Australia. We have abundant resources of gas, but most of it is produced and exported overseas for higher prices. The ACCC warning that next year's supply outlook is looking very concerning. There could be the biggest shortfall that we've seen in about 7 years, and that has really significant implications, not just for consumers but also for industry. It's warning that prices may get so high that industry needs to shut down at least temporarily because
not a very good situation to be running out of gas. Once again, Gopio Queensland presents iconic India Day Fair,
celebrating India's Independence Day on 13th August.
Come experience India at no cost at Roma Street Parklands.
Experience India's culture, music and food.
You will be entertained from 10:30 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. by many talented artists.
The program will begin with a parade from various community organizations,
finishing off with a grand finale laser light show.
Showstopper, one and only the Harbhajan Man, all the way from India.
Come join Gopio Queensland for a fun-filled family day and experience all that India has to offer.
For more information, visit our website www.gopioqueensland.org.
See you all there.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਹਰਭਜਨ ਮਾਨ। ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਐਂਡ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਦੇ ਸੱਦੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਬ੍ਰਿਸਬੇਨ ਵਿਖੇ 13 ਅਗਸਤ ਨੂੰ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਨੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਸਮੇਤ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਾ। ਗੋਪੀਓ ਦੇ ਖਾਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਹੇਠ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਮੁਹੱਬਤ ਖਲੂਸ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਭਰਿਆ ਸੱਦਾ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਗੀਤ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਦਾ ਗੁਲਦਸਤਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਨੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਸਮੇਤ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਰੱਖਣਾ। ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ 13 ਅਗਸਤ ਨੂੰ।
Hello everybody, my name is Ashana Chandra and I'd like to invite you to India Day Fair on the 13th of August at Roma Street Parklands. See you all there, bye!
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, India Day Fair promotion in full scheme because, it is one of those events which takes a lot of time and planning, and with the time and planning, of course, sorry for that little glitch there. We go to our next news where the Liberal Party is passing some reforms.
Rank and file members coming together with Liberal big names, some of them on big screens.
I'm so sorry that I can't be there with you in person.
The main item on the agenda, much anticipated reforms to strip the influence of power brokers and give each and every member a say in who is pre-selected.
The President has put up a plebiscite model, or a major step forward. However, he took one step back and kept the existing delegate model. So we're going to debate that.
One group, led by a number of former Liberal leaders, proposed amendments to beef up the motion, claiming the reforms had been watered down to appease influential factions.
I'll be supporting the proposal by the State President today.
What about the proposed amendment of the Liberal Reform Coalition?
Look, these are, now you're diving into the minor detail of things, and they are obviously party matters.
But WA's most senior federal Liberal was more than happy to speak publicly in support of further change.
My message today, though, because today is D-Day, is very, very clear. I am supporting reform.
Just to be clear, you said you are backing the amendment?
Yes, I'll back the amendment as well.
Okay, so
and if it doesn't get up, I am still backing reform. Full stop, that is it.
The motion was debated for hours behind closed doors before ballots were cast.
Because the votes being counted behind these doors right now are for a motion to change the party's constitution, to get through, it needs the support of at least 75% of attendees.
Over 92% of our state conference have just voted to change the way we do business in the WA Liberal Party.
for the first time, there's a value proposition that if you join the Liberal Party, you can choose your candidate.
The initial reform motion was adopted, but the beefed-up amendments rejected. with the President saying today was a first step towards real change. James Carmody, ABC News.
First step towards the reform, and of course always that reform is not easy, as any change is always comes with a little bit of opposition. Right now, New South Wales Rescue marks 80 years of service.
They're at nearly every emergency, but there's one that many officers believe shaped the police rescue unit as it marks a milestone.
A huge steel, concrete and brick bridge over the railway line crashed down on the carriages.
83 people were killed in the Granville disaster in 1977.
It was terrible, and I can always remember being under that bridge. It was like little rooms, and in every room there was people.
One by one, bodies were recovered from the wreckage. Alan Wade volunteered to help, and a year later joined the police rescue unit, a job he held for 23 years.
I used to say to myself, if they could thank me, they would. In a way, that's the way you used to get through it.
Granville drove home the importance of teamwork, collaboration and all the agencies working together.
Advice that's been front of mind during the recent floods across New South Wales. Today, the police rescue unit is made up of 130 officers.
The never say die attitude, coupled with fitness, coupled with fortitude, makes a great operator.
So I think the main thing is compassion.
When the unit was born in 1942, helmets were rare. Now they're mandatory. The ropes used to abseil are stronger too.
But as soon as this goes and that falters, this gives you a 2 minute drop, and it just should expand. And okay. Shock load.
But that won't happen, will it? No. To join the police rescue squad, an officer must be able to abseil down this tower. At 20 metres high, it's one way of testing whether there is a fear of heights. If there is, then it's an instant fail. The cars have changed over the years, and the technology, like bomb disposal robots, is better, making the job safer. But there's no remedy to undo what some officers have been exposed to. Richard Caldwell still remembers the day he walked into a burning hostel in King's Cross in 1981.
Our job was to walk through about knee-deep ash. There was a lot of ash up there, old wooden buildings, and we had to go kick around and find out where the people were.
19 people perished in the fire.
And without a doubt, the police rescue was renowned for their work.
So much so that an ABC TV drama was made about the unit in 1989. In reality, crews are called away at any given second, and today was no different, rushing off to a pile-up on the Anzac Bridge. So while the unit has evolved over the years, the drop-everything approach remains. Mark Reddy, ABC News, Sydney.
And an amazing work that they do out there, because, getting onto those scenes, it could be very, very traumatic as well, and right on the spur of the moment, and the horrific scenes that await you. So it needs a very special kind of person to be putting up their hands to do that. Our hats off to them. Well done. They do really, really well. Right, next, let's look at some sustainable homes for Australia.
Nestled between a train line and apartment blocks.
We bought the block and we actually got it cheap. We were really lucky because no one would touch it.
With a ground floor of just 78 square metres, this house in Melbourne's northern suburbs is home to a family of 5 and their 2 dogs.
Prepare to be challenged, prepare to change your thinking about tiny houses.
Spread out over 2.5 stories, it has 4 bedrooms, 2 living spaces and an interesting bathroom.
It's a family bathroom. It's quite a small space, so we couldn't fit a proper bath. We had to go for the circular version, which is quite beautiful. But mostly it's that green wall there, which is beautiful and gives that biophilic design.
And I just noticed I'm actually standing in the shower, so you're basically in a rainforest while you're having a shower over here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a jungle bathroom.
The entire project wasn't cheap. It cost about $1 million, but an emphasis on extra insulation and making the building airtight has saved the family on running costs.
This house has been designed to get rid of any heating element, so all we need is a little bit of cooling, maybe for 5 to 10 days a year.
So it's a really important example of how we can use these kind of spaces in our city to create, really impressive architecture at the highest sustainable level.
Experts say extra insulation is one small measure many Australians could take to improve the energy efficiency of their homes.
Australian homes have been referred to as glorified tents. One of the best things we can do is draft sealing, draft proofing. We often have very leaky homes.
While a tiny home might not be for everyone, a tiny power bill is.
There you go. What a things that you can do with a little bit of imagination. Even a small little place tucked between railway line and apartments, which no one wanted to touch, been transformed into an energy-saving home. Well done and well thought of. Right now we'll go to ICT, where the questions have been raised about the health system responses.
Rosalia Spadafora was a vivacious, funny and healthy preschooler.
Hello, I'm Rosalia with smiley faces.
Now her home is filled with toys and presents that she'll never get to play with. She died the day after her 5th birthday. Weeks on, her family are living in limbo.
She still would sleep with me at night, so going to bed is just the worst possible moment you could ever imagine. I sleep with a little pyjama that she had on at hospital because that's the only thing I have.
In the days before her death, she became unwell.
A little bit of a fever, sore ears, antibiotics. Within a couple of days she was back to almost her normal self.
But on the weekend before her birthday, she took a turn for the worse. Her mother and grandmother took her to the Canberra Hospital Emergency Department on the recommendation of a doctor, where they spent hours waiting in triage as her condition deteriorated. She was finally given a bed, though when Rosalia began throwing up, Katrina says their calls for help were ignored.
Me and my mum cleaned her up. My mum went to find more bed linen, more blankets. No one ever came.
It wasn't until well into the next day that they say medical staff finally gave her more than the most cursory of examinations. Rosalia's mother says they were given a flippant diagnosis.
Influenza A by a nurse carrying a trolley, just yelling it out from the corridor.
By then, Rosalia was in a very poor state, with the muscles around her heart inflamed. So much so that the family was told she'd need to be flown to Sydney because a paediatric cardiologist wasn't available in Canberra. Eventually, a helicopter arrived, but had to land at the airport rather than the hospital. By now, it was too late. While staff struggled to connect monitoring equipment and prepare her for the flight, she went into cardiac arrest.
Her eyes rolled back and I could tell that was it. They rushed me, my mum and my dad out of the room. They were coming to give up updates when they were doing the CPR, giving us false hope. I knew it was false hope, and by that stage they tried for an hour, they couldn't bring her back.
The family had 20 minutes with Rosalia's body before police arrived and statements were taken. This week, authorities publicly gave condolences.
It's tragic, Adam, and we're all very, very sad.
Our thoughts are with the family at this really, really difficult time, and I also want to assure people that the staff who were involved in this are receiving support.
I'm not getting any support. I didn't receive a phone call.
The family have serious questions about Rosalia's treatment.
When did they...
And now to the world news, and with that, first of all, we'll go to Kentucky, where rescuers are setting up search.
Powerful enough to sweep away people's homes, the rising floodwaters have been deadly and unrelenting. Triggered by what's been described as unprecedented rainfall, it's been battering the region for days. Some areas copped 200 millimetres of rain over one 24-hour period, inundating hundreds of homes.
Everything's gone, everything is gone. The whole life is gone.
For many living here, there was no way they could have prepared for the onslaught.
There's no words. It's just hard to imagine. There's nothing really that you can do, but, we're just glad that we got out.
Retired coal miner Hubert Thomas poured his life savings into his home. Now it's all gone.
I had my whole life saved in him. I ain't got nothing. I've got nothing now.
Swollen waterways sending torrents through communities in the Appalachia region in the east of the state. At least 18,000 households have been left without power. For many, there's no drinking water and mobile coverage is cut. As the death toll rises, there are fears it could rise further still.
This is still an emergency situation. We are in search and rescue mode. Again, that count is going to continue to go up, and we don't lose this many people in flooding. This is a real tough one.
A real tough situation there in Kentucky, and our thoughts are with everyone, as we know how devastating the floods can be, but when they come that suddenly and into areas where it never used to flood before. Well, right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to our daily India report.
Welcome to the Daily India Report that brings you reports, interviews, features and much more on India and the Indian diaspora. India has reported a rise in the daily COVID-19 cases on 29 July 2022 with 20,409 new cases and 47 deaths in 24 hours, but the recovery rates are improving.
There is a spike in new daily COVID-19 cases. However, active COVID-19 cases decreased to 143,988 according to India's Union Health Ministry data. The active cases comprise 0.9% of total infections, while the national COVID-19 recovery rate was recorded at 98.5%, the ministry said. India on July 28th recorded 20,557 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. The top 5 states which registered maximum cases are Maharashtra with 2,138 cases, followed by Kerala with 2,130 cases, Tamil Nadu with 1,803 cases, Karnataka with 1,624 cases and West Bengal with 1,273 cases. These 5 states account for 43.62% of new cases, with Maharashtra alone accounting for 10.4% of new cases.
Indian Prime Minister Modi lays the foundation stone of multiple programs worth Rs 1,000 crores or more than $125 million in the Indian state of Gujarat.
To boost rural economy, empower local farmers and milk producers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 28 July inaugurated and laid the foundation stone of multiple projects at Sabar Dairy in Gujarat state's Sabarkantha district. This is set to increase income of local farmers. Modi also facilitated beneficiaries of Sukanya Samriddhi scheme and top women milk producers. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel was among those present on the occasion. Sabar Dairy's capacity will increase further with the addition of a milk powder plant with modern technology and one more line in aseptic packing section. Modi work of the Dairy founder Bhurabhai Patel.
Indian Navy will commission India's first indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant in August 2022.
The Indian Navy on 28 July took delivery of the country's first indigenously built aircraft carrier Vikrant from its manufacturer, Kochi Shipyard Limited, ahead of its scheduled commissioning next month. The aircraft carrier, built at a cost of around Rs 20,000 crores or nearly US dollars 2.5 billion, successfully completed the fourth and final phase of sea trials 3 weeks back. This puts India in a select group of nations having the niche capability to indigenously design and build an aircraft carrier. The commissioning of the indigenous aircraft carrier is historic as it coincides with the 75th anniversary of India's independence. Meanwhile, Indian Navy has also received 2 of the 24 MH-60 Romeo multi-mission helicopters from the US in a boost to its overall combat capabilities. All 24 all-weather helicopters will be armed with Hellfire missiles and lethal rocket systems. Another helicopter is scheduled to be delivered next month. The first 3 MH-60 Romeo helicopters were delivered in the US in 2021 and are being used for the training of Indian Navy crew, they said. MH-60R helicopter manufactured by Lockheed Martin Corporation is an all-weather helicopter designed to support multiple missions with state-of-the-art avionics and sensors. India is procuring the choppers as a part of an around Rs 15,000 crore deal with the US government under the framework of foreign military sales. The Navy said the helicopters significantly boost the integral anti-submarine warfare capability in roles including anti-submarine warfare, anti-ship strike, specialized maritime operations as well as search and rescue operations.
India has called for a UNSC meeting after an attack on Indian and Moroccan peacekeepers in Congo.
The UN Security Council meeting was called after an attack on US mission in Congo killed Indian and Moroccan peacekeepers. A strong worded statement is issued by the 15-nation body that calls for accountability for the killing of blue helmets. 2 border security force personnel, head constables Shishupal Singh and Savlaram Vishnoi and a peacekeeper from Morocco were killed and others injured when the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo in North Kivu came under attack on July 26th. India, currently a non-permanent member of Security Council, called for a meeting of the Council under any other business to discuss the situation. A day later, the UN Security Council issued a press statement strongly condemning the attacks and calling on the Congolese authorities to investigate the attacks and bring the perpetrators to justice swiftly.
New Delhi, India's capital, has not recorded even a single good air quality day in the first half of 2022.
The Indian capital has not recorded even a single zero good air quality day in the first half of 2022. Good air when the air quality index called AQI is 50 or less. The government presented data in the parliament on 28 July. But India's Minister of State for Environment, Ashwini Kumar Chaubey, did mention that Delhi saw a 27% reduction in PM10 and a 22% reduction in PM2.5 in 2021 compared to 2016. During the first half of 2022, Delhi logged 7 satisfactory and 47 moderate air quality days during this period. The city saw 105 poor, 21 very poor and 1 severe air quality day, the data showed. Air quality index between 0 and 50 is considered good, 51 and 100 satisfactory, 101 and 200 moderate, 201 and 300 poor, 301 and 400 very poor, and 401 and 500 severe.
In the first, Tirumala temple hundi collection crosses Rs 100 crore mark or US dollars 12.5 million in the month of July 2022.
The Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam has created a record in hundi collections in July with Rs 100 crores in the form of donations from the Sri Venkateswara Swami devotees. This has surprised the TTD authorities. There is a tremendous increase in the number of devotees visiting the 7 hills in the recent months. Despite the reopening of schools and colleges after the summer holidays, there seems to be no decrease in the devotees' rush to Tirumala. Not only during weekends, even on working days also, one has to wait more than 12 hours to have a glimpse of the presiding deity.
World Bank appoints Indian national Indermit Gill as chief economist. The World Bank has appointed Indermit Gill, an Indian national chief economist and senior vice president for development economics at the Multilateral Development Bank. The bank president, David Malpass, said Gill brings a combination of leadership, invaluable expertise and practical experience working with country governments on macroeconomic imbalances, growth, poverty, institutions, conflict and climate change. Gill's appointment will be effective September 1st, 2022. Gill will be the second Indian to serve as chief economist at the World Bank. Roshni Nada Malhotra, the chairperson of HCL Technologies, has retained her position as the richest woman in India. Her net worth jumped 54% to rupees 84,330 crores, or approximately US dollars 10.5 billion in 2021. Roshni Nada Malhotra has been the executive director and CEO of HCL Corporation, vice chairperson of the board of HCL Technologies, and the trustee of the Shiv Nada Foundation. Malhotra is also an alumnus of the World Economic Forum's Young Global Leaders Initiative, a community of next-generation leaders. She featured in the world's 100 most powerful women list compiled and released by Forbes from 2017 through 2019. Born and raised in New Delhi, Ms. Malhotra studied in Delhi and graduated from Northwestern University in Illinois, the United States. She has a master's degree in business administration from Kellogg School of Management, Northwestern University. Roshni Nada Malhotra, the chairperson of HCL Technologies, has retained the tag of the richest woman in India for the second year in a row. Roshni Nada was followed by Nykaa owner Falguni Nair, overtaking Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw of the Biocon. Falguni Nair is the world's 10th richest self-made woman. The trailer of the much-awaited Netflix series Indian Matchmaking Season 2 has been released as Seema Aunty from Mumbai helps singles find their soulmates.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have in the Daily India Report for today, and it's been wonderful having your company. And just before we go, here's some messages from GoPure Queensland. Sponsor GoPure Queensland. Once again, GoPure Queensland presents iconic India Day Fair,
celebrating India's Independence Day on 13th August.
Come experience India at no cost at Roma Street Parklands.
Experience India's culture, music and food.
You will be entertained from 10:30 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. by many talented artists.
The program will begin with a parade from various community organizations,
finishing off with a grand finale laser light show.
Showstopper, one and only the Harbhajan Man, all the way from India.
Come join GoPure Queensland for a fun-filled family day and experience all that India has to offer.
For more information, visit our website www.gopurequeensland.org.
See you all there. Station sponsor GoPure Queensland.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਹਰਭਜਨ ਮਾਨ। ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਐਂਡ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਦੇ ਸੱਦੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਬ੍ਰਿਸਬੇਨ ਵਿਖੇ 13 ਅਗਸਤ ਨੂੰ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਨੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਸਮੇਤ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਾ। ਗੋਪੀਓ ਦੇ ਖਾਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਹੇਠ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਮੁਹੱਬਤ ਖਲੂਸ ਦਾ ਭਰਿਆ ਸੱਦਾ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਗੀਤ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਦਾ ਗੁਲਦਸਤਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਨੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਸਮੇਤ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਰੱਖਣਾ। ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ 13 ਅਗਸਤ ਨੂੰ।
Hello everybody, my name is Ashana Chandra and I'd like to invite you to India Day Fair on the 13th of August at Roma Street Parklands. See you all there, bye!
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful to see. Even Ishana is inviting everyone to the India Day Fair. Well, 13th of August, and it is going to be a wonderful program with all the stage items beginning at 10:30. We have the VIP reception. We'll have the parade happening there as well. Lots of food stalls and amazing row of talents throughout the day. And of course, the showstopper is the one and only legendary Harbhajan Manji. So we will be seeing you all there. Well, right now it's time to say goodbye from this segment, and it's been wonderful having your company on the first day of August, and of course, as we mentioned, with the arrival of August, we are looking forward to the Ekha, and we're also looking forward to the India Day Fair, and of course, no doubt, with both of those, around the timing, we also have those notorious, Brisbane Westleys. So that will be happening all day as well. So once again, thank you so much for joining us on this first day. And it is gone up a degree. So it's now 14 degrees and cloudy, probably remaining that way for the rest of the day. Until tomorrow. Oh, sorry about tomorrow. Tomorrow, the 2nd of August, a very special day, I must say. There will be no show, but we'll be back on Wednesday. Tomorrow is a very, very special breakfast meeting with the Queensland Treasurer and the Multicultural Minister, Minister Leanne Linnard. Will bring to you all the information on that. Unfortunately, while that is all happening at that time, we will not be able to bring you the show for tomorrow. So until Wednesday, it's goodbye from us.